Coming to you from the Spit Studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is the Spit Sports Show, August in sports, baby, where we got NFL training camp news and the PGA playoffs. But for some reason, one of those, even though it sounds a whole lot less exciting than the other, gets a kerjillion more clicks and articles written about it and just flat out coverage than the other. The issue with the PGA playoffs has been around for a little while now, and it's been disappointing me really since I started watching golf closely because during the summers, that and tennis are really the only two sports that have continuous seasons that you can follow. And it feels like during this time, it should be golf's professional golf's time to shine. Again, there's really no other sports going on. NFL training camp is dominating the headlines. It feels like there should be a lot of buzz, especially with the run that Scotty Scheffler is on right now, the heat that Rory has coming off the Masters win. Even still, he's one of the most popular athletes in the world, I would say. Like, Scotty's on a Tiger path right now. I'm not saying he's going to be Tiger, but he's playing almost at that level. Rory's still one of the biggest faces of the game, and the playoffs again have zero buzz coming into 2025. Now, the PGA have done something smart this year, taking away those starting strokes that they used last year, and I did understand the thought process behind it. You want to give an advantage to whoever did the best throughout the regular season and the first two playoff events. So at the Tour Championship, it's really a bigger body of work, if that makes sense, that represents the winner. But the playoffs in any sport, regardless of individual or team, should be a completely different season than the regular season. There's the postseason and the regular season, two very distinct things, but that's not how it works in the PGA Tour. For those of you who might not know how the current playoff system works, the top 70 players from the season, the regular PGA Tour season, make the playoffs. Their points from the regular season carry over into the playoffs. So the top 70 make it, and then the top 50 from that field of 70, including their regular season points, moves on to the next round. And then the top 30 from those group of 50 move on to the Tour Championship at East Lake. I don't know if I explained that well, but basically, it's a combination of your playoff points and your regular season points. And if you're really, really good, you should advance to the finals pretty easily. For example, Rory McIlroy has officially announced he's skipping the first playoff event of the PGA playoffs, the St. Jude Championship. That's a problem. The playoffs are supposed to be an extra level of buzz. They're supposed to be, again, where all of it is reset and we play off to see who the best is. Like, that's just, I know that sounds basic, but in terms of what the PGA Tour is doing right now, they don't understand the fundamentals of what makes a postseason so exhilarating in every sport. Like NBA playoffs versus regular season, it's night and day. Baseball, football regular season's pretty awesome, but hockey, playoff hockey, like everybody knows that the playoffs are a different level. But it's not like that whatsoever on the PGA Tour because their points carry over. So a guy like Rory McIlroy, who's second in points right now, can just skip on the first event because he knows he's going to be in that top 50 from the first round anyways, just because of how well he did in the regular season. Now, you could say, well, if you want the regular season to matter, then it should have impact in the playoffs. But there are things you can do with seeding and different ideas that I'm going to get into in a second here. But my primary gripe with the PGA Tour is overall, this doesn't just have to do with the playoffs, but it's their stubbornness to adapt to the new way of the world. And I think that's affected a lot of their social media. I think that's affected their capturing of the new generation. I actually think Liv has done a much better job with the YouTube golf scene and the shorts that are coming out, and a lot of the younger generation coming into golf are watching a lot more live golf than they are PGA Tour guys because live has interesting um, deals with their players that gives them rights to hold their own YouTube channel and post content of their own. And I think the PGA Tour has been behind in that. And it's obviously carried over into their playoff system, which again has zero buzz. So, a few ideas to improve this. Really, just two ideas. One of the ideas has two variations. And flatly, I am not the first one to come up with these ideas, I am sure, but that doesn't mean it's not worth repeating, especially again when now in 2025 in on August 6th when I'm recording this, the tournament kicks off tomorrow. I'm a huge golf fan and I forgot this was happening until Monday. I remember I was like, "Oh, wait a second. Scotty and Xander and all those guys are gonna be playing. I'm gonna be on my couch on Thursday. I'm super excited." But again, I saw nothing about it online. So the first thing you could do is the most obvious, which I'm sure you've been screaming at the video since I started. Just reset the points when the playoffs hit. When they come in to the playoffs, like the top 50 make it or the top 70 or whatever, once they make it, it is completely reset. Everybody is even, same amount of points because the postseason needs to be its own season. So, with that, you'd need to come in the top 50 in the first round to make it to the second round. You'd have to come in the top 30 in the second round to make it to the final round. Just makes sense, doesn't it? The points resetting, playoff players. We can start talking about, guys who can't get it done in the big moment. There's just I know that sounds like media fishing for clickbait kind of comment, but that's how sports leagues generate buzz. Like you can't Connor McDavid for hockey, like he has been known obviously as one of the greatest regular season performers ever, but can he get it done in the playoffs? But all of these regular season performers in golf, we know they can get it done in the playoffs because they walk into them with such a monstrous advantage over everybody else where again, they can skip events and still have a very solid chance at a tour championship. So, I think that's one of the ways to do it. The other way is top 50 make the playoffs. This is my variation of that. Top 50 make the playoffs, and then from there it resets like in the other one. But you play each of the three events, but one has more value than the other. So the first one is worth like 1 times the amount of regular points. The second one is worth 1.5 times the amount of regular points, and the tour championship is worth double the points. So it kind of goes up in scale for how important the events are, but it still resets to the point where everybody's even, and that tour championship is going to get even a little extra nudge because obviously, final event of the playoff season, it should have the most meaning and it will mathematically. So that makes sense to me as another suggestion. But the one that I really want to see, and I think everybody does actually want to see this, but because again, the PGA Tour is so rigid and historical and proud of their records and accomplishments and again, history of the game, I don't think they'll ever do this. But you can't tell me that the top 32 players instead of the top 30 making it to East Lake and doing a match play style tournament against each other over 5 days instead of 4, that sounds like an event to me. That sounds like something that people would take time out of their daily routines to say, "I wanna watch that." Because we all know how popular the Ryder Cup is. It's probably the best entertainment in golf. It's probably the most fun I have watching it besides Masters. And I love the US Open because, it makes everyone look a little human. But again, it's definitely on that top space. So to make the Tour Championship feel special, like we already have a format here. Take the top 32 guys. We do duels on Wednesday, duels on Thursday, duels on Friday, duels on Saturday, and then the final Sunday. Freaking imagine just like Scotty versus Xander, one-on-one match play for the Tour Championship. Now, would that potentially bring in some non-star power players, and I think that's a big issue that the PGA Tour has with resetting the playoff format in general is, you can have one bad tournament and you're out for the rest of the playoffs. Like, that could happen to a guy like a Justin Thomas or, um, a JJ Spawn or one of the guys who has been hot so far this year. Like, one bad tournament and you're done for the rest of the playoffs. Like, golf is obviously a high variety kind of sport. It's not a team game. You either kind of have it or you don't. So I understand that they don't want to get rid of that star power. But again, the playoffs should be their own thing. And not every time it's going to be, McIlroy, Scheffler, but Russell Henley versus Xander Schauffele, I'm there. One on one, I would let them talk a little smack. I would relax the, gentleman rule. They'll never do that. But I'm just saying the entertainment is key. The only reason why golfers make hundreds of millions of dollars and lawn bowlers don't is because of television and the entertainment that people have watching golf. And I think the PGA Tour has done a very poor job with their playoff system. And I think there's, again, a couple of things that easily could change that around to the point where it could at least take over NFL training camp reports for sports headlines and buzz. But that's just my opinion. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I want to know, how would you guys adjust the PGA Tour playoff format? Would you adjust it? Let me know in the comments below. I'm small enough as to where I can read all comments and love doing so, so drop something down there. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you really enjoyed it. The Spit Sports Show just hit over 400 subscribers. Big things happening on the channel. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Love you guys.